So one would ask when the estate planning seminar will be held. How does one actually become a part of it and the whole experience?
The estate planning seminar will be on the 25th of April 2026 from 8:30 in the morning until 12:30, right? So some people might think this 4 hours is 4 hours. What could we possibly be talking about? But it's quite an intense session. We had wanted to hold it either in Palape or Maung, and we wanted people to vote, but people didn't vote, so we're going to do it in Gaborone because clearly they don't want it outside the city.
No, the next one will actually be held there.
Mm, yeah.
So, who must be in the room? If at all, I've heard what you've talked about, but I'm still quite unsure exactly
Hmm.
if I should be in the room. Who must be in the room and why?
Okay. Anyone that is aged 16 and above should be in the room. I say 16 and above because we are going by the age limit that a person can be able to make a will in terms of Botswana law. So when you're 16 years old, you're entitled to make a will. And the reason why we also want to have people starting at such a young age is because we talk about marriage and children. By the time they are old enough to get married or have children, at least they have this good base. We also want to talk to people who are already married, people who are thinking of getting married, even people that are thinking of getting divorced, right? And this is because all of these things have a bearing on the property that they have in relation to their marriages, as well as single people who want to have children or who already have children, how to protect your children's interests in relation to property.
Just to drive the point home, can you
Mhm.
give two or three examples of some intricacies that you've come across that would actually be addressed then?
Aha. The most interesting one that we constantly get questions about, should we wait for this to pass? Oh, sorry, is universal partnership, right? And the reason why it is interesting is because a universal partnership can exist between two people who are not married to each other, but it can also exist between two people that are married to different people.
So I'll stop you there and
Yes.
ask you to explain what a universal partnership is.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're assuming that we know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So a universal partnership is a partnership, first and foremost, which means that it needs to meet the legal requirements of what a partnership is. The legal requirements of a partnership is that there must be an enterprise, right, that people are engaged in. They must contribute something to that enterprise. And that contribution could be in the form of money, it could be in the form of labor, it could be in the form of skill, right? And by labor, it could just be me showing up and doing some work in order to make sure that we don't hire someone else to pay and so on and so forth. It should be for our benefit as the partners of this enterprise, and it should result in the growth of our estate, right? Or our respective estates, as well as there must be an agreement, right? And this particular agreement, the good thing, or maybe the odd thing about the law, is the agreement can be in writing, we can agree outright, or it can actually be implied from the way that we are conducting ourselves, the way we act.
Okay. And
Mm.
translation to that, simplifying it a bit better to
Mm.
drive it home,
Yes.
is that a universal partnership could be people who are cohabiting.
No, no. Now, these are the general principles of a partnership.
Okay.
The thing that makes it a universal partnership is the romantic element, right? And there hasn't been anything necessarily in the law that says there has to be cohabitation for a universal partnership to exist. It's just that a lot of the cases that are litigated or we deal with at court have cohabitation in it.
Okay.
But generally, it just has to be a romantic relationship. So if we meet all the requirements of a partnership and we're in this romantic relationship, whether I am married to someone else and the other person is married to someone else makes no difference to the existence of a universal partnership, right? And the thing that then scares people is that if I am married and the other person is married and we create a universal partnership, my spouse can reach in through my universal partnership into that marriage.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yes.
And is it as a result of the matrimonial regime, or they just can generally, despite married out of commute of property, as an example?
It can happen either way, whether they're married in or out. I say this because now we're centering on inheritance, right? If a person dies and they're married out of community of property and there's no will, the surviving spouse is still entitled to a child's share in the estate of the person who has passed away.
Mhm.
And that share could include the assets of the universal partnership. And that's how I'm able to reach through the universal partnership to that other marriage.